A day ago, Mackenzie Adams had 15 kills against Madison in the 3-set win. Yvonne Montano had 10. Magdalena Yehelasheva had 5 blocks, and Atlanta out-hit Madison 355 to 142. And immediately out of system, and a free ball coming for Rachel Fairbanks to work with. And she tees up San Giacomo, who gets the first point of this one.
A big swing on the outside. They'll have to use all areas of the net. That's what I think Atlanta have been doing really well in the last few weeks, is establishing their middle, using their pins, adding some strength and some speed behind as well.
Tia Jemerson, first serve coming for Atlanta. And it results in an ace after a shanked pass by Timmy Thomas-Ilara.
We love a serving middle. We love an ace from your middle blocker. And that's how you can add a little layer to your game, right? You think about middles as just attackers or blockers. No, if you're a tough server too, that makes you a triple threat.
And TTA is a better passer than that. Going at her again. That pass is better. Carlini. And the wrist away from Andrea Mitrovic.
Yeah, as we mentioned, that is what she's here for. That is exactly what Coach Matt has asked her to do, is be an aggressive force on the pin. Love that wrist away. She's getting underneath that big block of Atlanta, avoiding the block, right? That's number one for Madison.
Mississauga, Ontario, just outside Toronto, a rising star for Team Canada. Mitrovic, 26 years old. Yehelasheva, native of Czechia, played 5 years at Washington State, puts it down in her first effort.
She's been so fun to watch this season. Defensively, we know she was so good at blocking this season and in college, but offensively as well. And that's part of the reason why Atlanta have had so much success in the latter stage.
Yeah, last 3 matches, Yehelasheva hitting .575. Rebecca Alec, a little anger in that one, Key.
Ooh-wee. I like it. I want to see a little fire out of Madison. Right there in their last home match. They don't have a shot at the playoffs, but they can absolutely go down swinging.
Alec, the rookie out of Nebraska. And she'll serve. Lincoln native, who really leveled up her game offensively with the Huskers this year. Back row attack by Mitrovic. Montano there. San Giacomo, her second kill.
I like what Madison have done. They tried to put that ball on Montano, take her out of the offense, go a little short. So they knew that ball was either going to go middle or outside pin. Block was there, but it's a great finish by San Giacomo.
Julia will serve. Sonoma, California native. Played at both Santa Clara and Northwestern. Timmy Thomas-Ilara, first swing. Pops it over the top. Back row attack. San Giacomo. And goes long.
Ooh, a bit of luck for Madison. And I mentioned it, right, about Gong and how players and other teams will purposely serve her to try and get her out of the offense. That's what you saw there. And that's a missed opportunity for Atlanta. They had a tip from TTA.
That they did. And now Gong will send it away. As you mentioned, 3-time Olympian. Gold medalist for China, Mackenzie Adams.
That is a nasty swing from Adams. I mean, she had a whole bunch of space there to work with down the line, but we mentioned how she's matured over this season so far, and you'll see a lot of different styles of swing. That over the shoulder, straight to the floor. Ooh, chef's kiss.
We got to stop talking about her being underrated.
Oh, she's rated now.
Yeah, she's rated now. Wrist away by TTA, and it goes long, and Madison wants to check. Bad for a ringer.
Adams was so casual with it, too. She kind of just moved, boop, right out of the way, lets it go right over her shoulder.
Yeah, I guess we play on. No challenge flag coming. Yehelasheva's serve. Good pass by Grimes. TTA going back line that time, and this time it's in. Side out Madison, 6-4 Atlanta.
And Madison trying to figure out how to use that higher ball, right? Off the net when Carly doesn't have a chance to use her middles. That's where TTA has to shine. Keep saying TTA, Timmy Thomas-Ilara for anyone that doesn't know.
It's okay, you can use both. Montano with a D ball. The bottom dropped out of that one, wow.
I'm always impressed by attackers that can go over the block and still inside the court. The angle that you have to hit at, the height that you have to contact the ball at to get that kind of angle is insane.
Great athlete. And what a job she's done stepping in for Tessa Grubbs. Grubbs went down with an injury on February 7th. They were down 1-0. Clearly their best player. Fairbanks going on the other side of the net for that one. Grubbs was clearly their best player. She went down. They were down 1-0. And it was pretty clear that she wasn't going to come back that match, if not for a long time. Turned out she had ankle surgery. Tessa Grubbs out for the year. They won the final 3 sets of that match, starting a 6-match winning streak during which they've won 9 of 12. Yvonne Montano gets a ton of credit for that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what's, I mean, it was a blessing and a curse, right? You never want one of your players to go down. But at the same time, it forced Atlanta to have that balance that we always talk about. They kind of relied really heavily on just throwing that ball high up to Tessa, kind of the similar way that Houston do with Jordan Thompson. But now they have to use all those pieces. Man, I hope Fairbanks is okay. That looked rough.
Yes, it did. She's still in there. Here comes Montano, second swing of the rally. Temi Tamasai Lara able to dig it, kept alive for the moment by Gong, but not enough.
Do you know what? Credit for that set as well. Pina Pinoy just stepping in and putting that ball nice and high on the tape so her hitter can go and get it aggressively. Out of system setters, you don't often see that ball coming at you, but that's where you can really win a game.
Pinoy really good at all aspects of it. Digging, passing, out of system setting.
And that's one of the things on Madison's side, for example, they have a younger libero in Jillian Grimes, and her out-of-system setting is maybe one of the things that they struggle with. If you can have a libero that puts that ball on a dime just like a setter does, you're really not at a disadvantage.
And there's an ace, and Madison back within 1. Lauren Carlini. Carlini with her 6th ace this year.
Yeah, speaking of setters that can put balls on a dime from the serve as well, she's picking on that seam.
Let's see how many times she calls her own number. Earlier this year, she had 7 kills in 1 match against Atlanta. Off the soft block, the swing by San Giacomo. There's Alec off the soft block. Pinoy was there. San Giacomo rejected by Alec.
That's a huge block. Now that's a tougher swing because the ball's coming from behind her. So you want the ball tight, but you still want to be able to look at what's in front of you. And there it was kind of a trap set. So it's a very subtle difference between a perfect set and a trap set.
Here comes Montano, rolls it over the top. And a creative way to get it done. Side out Atlanta, they go back up 9-8.
That's always a good spot to try and exploit. You saw Gong having to come in and try and play that first ball. And even if she had played that perfectly, she's not going to be getting up and making an approach.
Both these teams are young. Atlanta even a little younger than Madison. Madison has veterans on the court like Carlini and Gong. And it's another ace for Jemerson. And it's 10-8. It's a second ace for Tia Jemerson.
I love that. Believe in the buns.
Out of system, Carlini. What a Mitrovic down the line. Carlini and Mitrovic make something out of nothing there.
Yeah, good connection between those two. And keep your eyes on Mitrovic and really any high-level player. If you see her change her range, so you saw that ball coming, cutting inside the last one, then she goes down the line. She'll throw some tips in there and a deep line as well. That variety is what makes her so good.
Yeah, spreads it out well. San Giacomo kept alive. Good coverage by Gong. Options here for Fairbanks. And she goes to the middle to Yehelasheva.
Clean. Such a good connection. I love Fairbanks trying to find her middle early and often, and especially this particular Yehelasheva is so good at being open and available.
Has really dialed up her game here in her 3rd pro season. Good pass by Mitrovic. Gong! Gong an opposite, though she's right-handed. And has to let that ball pass her body to take that swing. And it was a good one.
And she likes a little bit of a faster ball than typical opposites. I mean, a Jordan Thompson or something like that, you're just swinging that ball really high and they're going up to get it. Gong wants that little more speed to it.
And that one goes wide. So Atlanta with a 12-9 lead. And we have timeout on the floor midway through this first set. League One Volleyball is presented by Skims, the official loungewear, intimates, and sleepwear partner of Love.
I think it's evident. It's been a massive impact, you know. When Tessa went down, she didn't hesitate to step into that role and to, you know, just go for it. And I think she's shown, you know, why she's here and why she's in this league and why she's playing.
Two months ago, Yvonne Montano stepped in for the injured Tessa Grubbs. Here's what her teammate Mackenzie Adams had to say about it.
Massive impact, you know. When Tessa went down, she didn't hesitate to step into that role and to, you know, just go for it. And I think she's shown, you know, why she's here and why she's in this league and why she's playing. She's been a great, like, obviously asset to this team and just a powerhouse, honestly.
It's hard to quantify the impact she had, Key.
Yeah, and I think was thrown into that role, right? But she had a few matches where she's had over 20 points. I mean, those are huge numbers for her team.
She had one where she had 26, tied for the fourth most in league history. Wrist away by Gong right down the line to get the side out for Madison and get him back within two. The Gong Show. I'm old enough to remember that. Are you?
I'm not.
Okay,
like
it was a game show from the 1970s, early 80s. On the slide, Yelasheva, dug by Mitrovic. Good dig. And TTA with a kill after the dig by Andrea Mitrovic. Side out Madison.
And Madison now have the responsibility to take care of the little things, right? Like passing, getting the ball onto Carlini, having a few more options in their offense. That's what I think they're going to shine.
And too long for Gong Xiangyu. (13-12) Atlanta. Magdalena Yelasheva will serve for Love Atlanta. Carlini. Schwarzenbach on the slide. Covered up by Carlini. Bump set by Grimes. And TTA got dubbed by Yelasheva. Love the middle blocker getting down. And point Madison, even it up at 13.
I think a net touch probably called there. Getting a little too intense. They weren't sure who was going to take it to put it over.
Right over the top of the tape. Jemerson. Excellent work by Montano and Fairbanks. Mitrovic. Andrea Mitrovic. What a hard-earned point for Madison. Atlanta was able to keep it alive, but then second opportunity, Mitrovic took care of business.
And the same thing happening on Madison's side. The miscommunication there, but they're turning it into something.
Bottom didn't drop out of that one fast enough for Tomasai Lara. And back even here at 14.
I feel like we might see a few more missed serves on Madison's side than we typically do. Coach Matt Ferbinger was telling us, hey, they have to serve tough. They know Atlanta is one of the toughest teams if they're in system and their middles are running. One
reason why they're 6-12 and in sixth place in League One volleyball is that they're last in the league in both passing and keeping the opponents out of system. So they are not winning the serve and pass battle on a regular basis.
Yeah, definitely going to want to take more risk today.
Rachel Fairbanks. Good pass by Mitrovic, right on the money. Back row attack by Tomasai Lara, going for the high hands and didn't get him. That surprised you that she went high hands there?
No, because I think that's what they want to do, right? They, after being blocked 13 times in this last match, that will be on the scouting report. Figure out how to get those big swings while going high for the fingertips.
Well, the dancing of Beatrice Negrati in the background. There's Tomasai Lara again, back row attack. That time gets it done.
I like the repeat set. You got to keep someone like TTA involved in the game. You can't let her get into her own head, right? After one error like that, it's a tendency as a player to think, ooh, maybe I swing a little softer the next time. No, get her that ball immediately, and that's what she can do.
Schwarzenbach serve. Short serve. Out of system. Options for Carlini. Combo play. Mitrovic off the block of Montano and inbounds. I think it hit one of the Madison players on the way down.
Yeah, I think that's what happened there. And Mitrovic rolled off her own body. It's a nice swing by her, and again, the angle that she got on it to get that ball to go out of bounds was good, but it's really tough to get out of the way of that kind of ball.
Atlanta back up by 2. Madison needs it. Off the soft block, Pinoy was there. San Giacomo, overhand dig by Thomas Ailara. And Gong Xiaoyu out of the back row.
That's a huge swing from Gong. And you'll notice on the first ball, she had to pass the first ball, right? So she's on the floor. She's not even part of the offense. That's why it's so crucial when you get another bite of the cherry to go to her, because it's not like typical opposites in this league where you hide them and then just all they do is hit.
Side out for Atlanta. Magdalena Hilasheva back in. Libero Peanut Pinoy comes out. Jemerson, who has a couple of aces, will serve again. Good crowd here at the Alliant Energy Center. Thursday evening. Matt Furbringer says we have the best crowds in the league. Off the block and out of bounds. Side out Madison, 18-17 Atlanta.
Both teams using their middle when they can. I like the look of that. I think that both teams try to use their middle a little more, but when that pass is on, absolutely fire into that zone.
Hilasheva there for the short set. Montano for the big swing. Dug by Carlini. Bump set by Gong. Timmy Thomas Ailara tools the block after a fantastic set by Gong Xiaoyu.
And how about that dig by Carlini? She's one of the best in the league in digs, and she's making sure the ball stays in play. She's not able to set after that, but just that one-handed scoop, huge.
For sure, one of the world's best defensive setters, Lauren Carlini. Magdalena Hilasheva puts Atlanta back in front, 19-18. They go with the quick from Fairbanks. Ivan Montano will serve. Opponents in system about 55% of the time when she serves. Doesn't put a ton of pressure on him. League average is 494. There's Alec with another kill. Side out Madison. Back and forth we go. Tied at 19 here in this first set.
And one of the problems the last time they met was that Madison, no one had over 10 points. But I'm already seeing that Alec is getting involved. TTA is hitting a little stronger. Gong as well. I feel as though they're just playing much better today than they did in the last match.
She comes out, Claire Chassé, and is a serving specialist, the Sun Prairie, Wisconsin native. Very nearly an ace. It does result in a free ball. Carlini to Schwarzenbach, dug by Pinoy. Montano with a D ball, dug by Mitrovic. Bumps at Carlini in deep traffic. There's another dig by Pinoy. Montano D ball again. Blocked by Timmy Thomas Ailara.
Monster block for Ailara. Good hands as well. Watch how she has to come back from off the court, and I think that was the problem there. Montano thinking, I've got free range here. There's going to be an open net, but Timmy Thomas Ailara is so quick off the floor.
A timeout taken by Atlanta, suddenly down by 1. They led it 17-15. Remember, they got outblocked 5 days ago in Atlanta, 13-2.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest problems, right, was trying to figure out how to get around the block. Already you can see they've adjusted a little bit in their offense, swinging higher, swinging wider, and it results in a few errors here and there, but they're avoiding the block. They're bump setting and spiking.
That they are, and they're in their final home match. They'll wrap things up on Saturday at Salt Lake. As we're playing here, Austin and Salt Lake are playing. If Salt Lake wins that one, they will clinch a playoff berth. If Austin wins, then it's chaos. They would pull into a tie with Salt Lake, and they would also be tied in head-to-head matches, Austin and Salt Lake, 2-2. So there are basically 3 teams playing for 2 playoff spots right now, with the League One volleyball playoff starting next week in Louisville.
It's wild to think how much movement there's been throughout the season. Teams that you thought had it in the bag, not so much, and other way as well. Some teams that have just risen throughout the season, and Atlanta's one of them.
That they have. Winners of 9 of their last 12. Another serve, putting pressure from Claire Chassé. Results in the pass right atop the net. 21-19 Madison. All right, let's see if Love Atlanta can get Chassé off the service line. She got off the service line herself. 21-20 Madison. Claire Chassé told me earlier this season, if you had told 15-year-old Claire Chassé that she would be playing pro volleyball in her hometown, she would have said, "You're lying."
Yeah, I think a lot of these players couldn't even have dreamed it.
San Giacomo. Yeah, even a few years ago. Service error, 22-20 Madison.
That's the first service error, I think, from Atlanta's side, compared to 3 from Madison.
And that speaks to what you're talking about. Madison knows they have to serve particularly tough to beat this Atlanta team that out-hit them by a drastic margin 5 days ago. Adams dug off the softball by Mitrovic. Thomas Ailara blocked by Yehlasheva. Atlanta back within 1.
There it is. There's the blocking we were talking about. The first one tonight for Atlanta, but she's so good at crushing that inside arm and finishing the angle, so TTA just cannot even go there.
Very talented blocker there. Magdalena Yehlasheva set the NCAA career record for blocks while at Washington State. Beatrice Negrati, libero, but in as a defensive specialist. Diving dig by Negrate. Back row attack, and she gets blocked by Schwarzenbach.
Big moment for Schwarzenbach, especially because, just as you mentioned, right, bringing in Negrati as a second libero essentially on the court, you now have multiple defensive options.
High toss by Thomas Ailara, too strong, service error. They lead 23-22. They can still maintain upper hand if they can get the side out here.
I like this aggressive look from Madison. I know a lot of coaches don't, and there are some coaches that will encourage it, say, I'd rather see you make an error than serve a lollipop. It feels like that's the strategy tonight. Just go down swinging.
The old line might have been Alexander the Great. Fortune favors the bold.
That sounds better than what I said.
Mitrovic, set point for Madison. Well, Madison up 24-22. Argentina comes in, and she will try to serve them across the finish line. The 23-year-old from Sonora, Mexico. Gotta have it. It's Jemerson they go to. Tia Jemerson gets him back within 1. Second set point coming up for Madison.
That's bold from Fairbanks as well, to go to her middle in that really crucial moment where you have to score the point.
She had the pass to work with. Now Mackenzie Adams. Good pass, Carlini. Timmy Thomas Ailara ends it. Madison in their final home match. They take the first set, 25-23. All right, set number 2 here at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison. And we're off and rolling. And immediately, free ball coming for Rachel Fairbanks after her serve. And Jemerson off the soft block. Gong Chao Yu there. Back row attack by TTA, who finds an opening in the floor. Right in the middle of the campfire.
Oh yeah, that one feels good. If you're attacking from the back court and you find yourself underneath the ball, which is what happened to TTA there, all she could do really was tip. So she's hoping that it finds somebody off guard.
Timmy Thomas Ailara, first generation Nigerian American. Began playing rec league volleyball. She was very young, Lansing, Michigan. There's Lauren Carlini, who, when she was young, played softball as well as volleyball. And to her dad's chagrin, she gave up softball pitching. He said she was like an artist. Mitrovic, dug by Adams. And Tia Jemerson on the block. Eva Hudson in the match for Love Atlanta. Hudson was a starter until February 19th, and Julia San Giacomo began to start. Hudson, the last 9 matches, just 26 total attacks. We'll see how much she gets involved in this one. Overpass, and she gets involved right away. On cue, Eva Hudson.
100%. I love this change for Atlanta. I know there's a few different things that Paula Coco could do, but she was one of the most impressive players coming out of the NCAA this year. And we've only seen her sparingly, but I think she has such aggression when she goes after the ball.
First team All-American in her lone year at Kentucky. For the Wildcats of the NCAA title match against Texas A&M. Semifinals, Hudson had 29 kills and hit .455 in a 5-set win over Wisconsin. So they don't have great memories of Eva Hudson here in Madison.
Fair.
Montano using the block. There's Eva Hudson. Also 3 years at Purdue. Gone trying to make something out of nothing. Fairbanks going to Hudson. Covered up by Jemerson. Hudson again. Dug by Mitrovic on the dime. TTA. Cross body. Timmy Thomas-Lara. Side out Madison, 4-3 Atlanta.
And one of the things that worked really well in the first set is that they were attacking with an efficiency over 400 as a team. Madison was, and that's due to a lot. Their passing was improving, I feel like, step by step over the course of that set. They got better and better at getting that ball where Carlini could do something with it.
Now they hit 420 as opposed to 250 for Love Atlanta. Remember, Atlanta had out-hit them 5 days ago, 355 to 142.
And again, volleyball is one of those sports where everything kind of follows the other, right? If you serve tougher, harder to pass, the attacking gets lower percentage. That's kind of just the math of it.
Yvonne Montano gets a side out for Atlanta. Madison won the first set by 2. It was back and forth, and this one's shaping up to be the same way. Madison has dropped their last 2, but that was after winning 4 out of 6. Gong, diving dig by Adams. Back set over her head by Fairbanks.
Is that a backcourt attack called?
Might have been, yeah.
Foot fault on the line,
Okay.
That's all I can think of. That's a great scoop by Adams.
Nope.
Now, hard to tell from that, but there must have been a little touch there.
Even at 5. Hudson, dug by Mitrovic. Timmy Thomas-Lara going back corner and didn't get it.
Ooh, she's hoping for a
Yeah.
touch, maybe. And even if this is out by, that was several feet out of bounds, let's say. It definitely wasn't going to be the question whether or not it was in or out, but I like this style of Madison, right? They're going for those fingertips, and that has to be part of the game that Madison has talked about. You cannot swing into the meat of the block when you're going up against Atlanta, and they're not. You're going to make some errors. You're going to miss by a couple of inches on the fingertips, but that's just kind of part of it.
Challenge successful, and now Atlanta's claiming, wait a minute, we saw what you saw. There didn't look like be a touch there, and I understand where Paula Coco's coming from. It definitely didn't hit Tia Jemerson's left hand, and it didn't look like it hit her right hand.
I thought I saw the same thing as you, but I think it was Yelacheva who's front court, isn't it?
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah. There's Hudson. Fairbanks. There's Montano. Gong finds a seam in the block.
That's a great response. The tendency after a ball that goes the way you don't want it to go, after a view that you don't agree with, is to maybe grumble, feel a little frustrated, make a silly error. That's a great response from Madison.
What a nice set by Timmy Thomas-Ailara. Short serve, diving play by Hudson on the slide. Yehelasheva. How about Atlanta on that one? The short serve and Hudson having to dive for it, and Fairbanks still went to the middle on the slide.
Well, she really didn't have any other option. She couldn't go to the outside. Hudson completely on the floor, so the blockers did a good job to follow, but that's excellent finish by Yehelasheva down the line.
Carlini went for the dump. Benoit's seen that before. She read it well. And Mackenzie Adams tools the block.
Benoit for the win. Those are not easy balls to pick up. Lauren Carlini, one of the best in the biz at getting those balls straight to the ground. She was ready for it.
She had 7 dumps against Atlanta in a match earlier this year. Kept going to the corner. Carlini goes to Thomas-Ailara. And blocked by Fairbanks, I believe.
Now see, here's the difference, right? If Madison start playing a little bit insecure, I kind of want to say.
Tentative.
Thank you. It gets harder and harder because the block is there.
And they're out of system here. Thomas-Ailara trying to better the ball, and she does.
Yeah, there's different ways that you can beat the block. You either want to beat them with your pure power, you can beat them with height, with an incredible angle, or with speed. It's one of those few, and whichever one is working for Madison earlier on, it was those angles.
Thomas-Ailara, a really smart player, has a biomedical engineering degree from Northwestern, graduate degree in applied biotech from Wisconsin. And she was unable to dig that one. Seventh kill from Montano. And Yehelasheva will serve. And she has an ace.
The middles racking up the aces.
Yeah, 2 for Jimerson, 1 for Yehelasheva.
And look where she's serving too, right on Gong. So it's an aggressive serve. Gong's one of the better passers out there. But again, get your opposite out.
Too long that time, 10-9 Atlanta. And they trade service errors. Rosenbach comes out. 11-9 Love Atlanta. Atlanta's won 9 out of 12. Madison dropped 2 in a row after winning 4 out of 6. Gong's pass on the money. Alec off speed. Jimerson there. Back in her face, and now tied to the net. Mitrovic again. Good work by Jimerson and Adams to keep the ball alive. Free ball for Carlini on the slide. Alec off the block of Adams. Hard-earned point for Atlanta.
Hard-earned indeed, and patient. They had to work the net, and moving from one side all the way to the other. Carlini's trying to do what she can there, is spread the offense and make the blockers move, but great speed by Atlanta.
Yep, that it was. Timeout on the floor here in the second set. Atlanta trying to even this up at a set apiece. Back in a moment to Madison, Wisconsin. Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Great. And we are back here in Madison. We are in set number 2. Madison won set 1, 25-23. Here in the second set, Atlanta's hitting 310. Madison just 120. Is that the case, Key, of just a small sample size, or is Madison not being as aggressive as they were?
Well, it's a complete flip-flop, right? Because that was exactly what was the strength of Madison in the first serve. And maybe Atlanta are taking a bit more risk in their serve. They're making it harder on Carlini, but also the blockers stepping up.
Carlini went for the dump on that pass, really tight to the net. Adams covers things up herself. Good work by her and Pianut Pinoy. Carlini going to Mitrovic. Dug by Pinoy. The overdig is out of bounds. Montano coming all the way past the antenna over on the other side, trying to keep that ball in play.
Hey, it'd be legal, right?
It would be legal.
Few plays this year. There's one in particular I can think of, Jordan Thompson just sneaking under the net, bringing it back, and her team wins the point.
As long as you're on the other side of the antenna.
Yeah.
Fairbanks going to Jimerson. It rattles around the pinball machine, and it's a kill for Jimerson. 13-10 Atlanta.
You called it right. A very different looking serve there. That ball was so simple on the head of the setter for Atlanta. If they're running their middle that quickly and that efficiently with barely a block, that's the pass doing work and the serve getting softer for Madison.
An ace for Mackenzie Adams. Fourth ace for Atlanta, first not by a middle blocker.
We'll let some other people in the club too.
14-10 Atlanta. Atlanta 10-8 coming in. They started 1-5 this year. Long tips, Pinoy digs, backs at Fairbanks. Love it from that end zone view. And the swing by Montano for the kill. You could really see the precision in this set by Fairbanks from that end zone view. Timeout taken by Madison. Atlanta leads by 5. All right, we talked about your picks, Key. How about mine? I too have Pianut Pinoy as the libero of the year in the league. Tip of the cap to Katoa Inouye of Austin, Lauren Briseño of Houston, and Pinoy's teammate, Beatrice Negrati. And what about middle? Amber Igidi. She has done such a fantastic job. And others I had Magdalena Yehalasheva, Serena Gray, who was your pick, Asia O'Neal, but Igidi has just been fantastic. Leads the league in hitting percentage. Setter, controversial choice. Kaisa Olanko, who's not even the best setter on her own team. That would be Micah Hancock. But Hancock, the Olympian, has been out with an injury. And since she has been out, Kaisa Olanko stepped in and did an incredible job. You say, well, yeah, she has Jordan Thompson to set to, but I couldn't set to her. She still has to be able to get her the ball, and she's done it. I think Olanko has done a remarkable job. I also had Rachel Fairbanks, Laura Dykema, and we're talking about just the 20 matches in this league. You had Poulter, who's one of the best setters in the world, but what's happened this year, I think I would have her maybe 4th or 5th best in the league this year.
Yeah, she's been battling some injuries and certainly has not been at her peak. But I like Kaisa Olanko as well. I think she's got the highest setting efficiency in the league right now. She's been phenomenal stepping into that role.
Just by the way, I'm a huge Jordan Poulter fan. If you're going to say she's the best in the world, I'm not going to argue with you. There's Montano. And for Coach of the Year, you had Sanja Tomasevic, which I think is an excellent choice. I had it between Paulo Coco and Susie Fritz, who had major turnarounds among their teams. We might compare our picks a little bit later. But Sanja Tomasevic has done an excellent job with Love Houston after their 0-3 start. They had a turnaround of their own. Diving big effort by Hudson. Couldn't get it done. Okay, well, let's talk about it right now. There we go. The yellow are the different picks that you had for me.
Well, I like Sanja Tomasevic because, as you mentioned, they lost the first 3 matches, but her team's been dominant ever since. They only dropped 4 matches since that early stage. I think it shows patience, the evolution of the team, and she speaks truthfully to the players, which they really appreciate. They said that she'll just tell them in the way it is, and I think that's something that can be respected in a coach.
Yep. You're right, learned that over with Vakif Bank in Turkey. Kind of honed her coaching skills over there under Giovanni Guidetti for 2 years. One of the great club coaches in the world. And Sanja Tomasevic certainly has had a fantastic season as coach for Houston. I do think that's a good choice. Hudson, dug by Grimes. Thomas Ilara again over the top. Hudson, second swing of the rally. We have a net violation? What was it?
Not sure, but it was a pretty clean swing by Hudson. And I was going to say, I like the change that Hudson has brought, just a different energy. She's really stepped in and kind of made a difference for her team right now.
Thomas Ilara. Hudson. Eva Hudson puts it down. 19-12 Atlanta. And get this key. For Atlanta, they have now scored exactly as many points this year, all season long, as they have given up. 1,549 points for, 1,549 points against.
Quick maths. You did that all in your head just now.
I did, actually. Schwarzenbach gets one back for Madison. 19-13 Atlanta. Going back to our predictions, we both, of course, had Jordan Thompson as MVP, and it's not even close.
I was going to say, I would challenge anyone to come to me and say she doesn't deserve the MVP.
Yeah.
Come at me.
We might have come to blows on that one, right? Per 100 team rallies, Jordan Thompson of Houston, 13.95 points. Second best, Madison Skinner, 8.66.
I mean, it's just not even close. No one's in her league right now.
Nobody. It's like watching a Katie Ledecky 1500 in the Olympics.
Yeah.
She's lapping everybody.
And speaking of the Olympics, I was thinking who else would be in that shoe-in spot for a USA jersey opposite in the LA Olympics. I mean, she's got that hands down as well.
Right. Is Annie coming back?
That's a good question.
Annie Drew Schumacher. Annie Drew Schumacher, who played last year with Madison. Matt Fogelberger told us today that she had officially retired when she got pregnant, due with her first child coming up soon. Best of luck to Annie. But he could actually see her coming out of retirement, that it might be temporary. It is expected that Kelsey Cook and Justine Wong-Orantes, 2 other Olympians that are having their first children, it is expected that they will come back. 23-13 Atlanta running away with this second set.
Having said that, though, coming back, I mean, there are a lot of players in this league that are mothers and do play again. But Anna Stevenson-Hall, for example, on
yes.
side will tell you how difficult it is to get back into playing shape.
Stevie had her baby boy Louis back in September. Anika Legros getting into the act. Last played March 7th against Atlanta. Her last kill before that one came February 7th against Atlanta.
Welcome back. There's another one. I think she's a fun player to watch. She's so physical and athletic. She can hit over and around literally anyone on court.
Back row attack by Montano. Set point for Atlanta.
Atlanta trying to work a little bit more backcourt as well. They're just having more options in this set. They just look so comfortable. And again, that has to do so much with that first contact.
It just kind of seems like the cream has risen here in this second set. See if Madison can hang with them moving forward. Negrati serve. Legros, Jimerson on the block, and that ends it. 2 sets in the books. Madison won the first one, and it was close back and forth. Atlanta from that back line, and we are happy that she's healthy again.
Yeah, and also she's bringing experience, even if she's not on the court, right? She's played in Greece, she's played in France. She's someone who can give an extra set of eyes from the bench to the players, having had that kind of experience under her belt.
Well, Madison got dominated in that second set. Let's see if they can respond. They got swept 5 days ago in Atlanta, won the first set here 25-23, and lost the next one by 11. Andrea Mitrovic serves it away. Fairbanks going to Jemerson. Overdig by Carlini, and Jemerson takes care of business. 1-0 Atlanta.
Great work at the net. And I think most importantly in this set, Madison need to go back to their tough serving, right? We talked about how efficient they were in their passing. They went from 420 hitting efficiency down to just 60 hitting efficiency. So that just means Atlanta are stepping up. They're serving tougher, and it's the opposite. They've gone from 250 to hitting over 400 as a team.
Somehow was kept alive by Montano and Adams off the swing from Alec. Carlini surveyed her options, goes to Temi Thomas-Ailar, who uses the block. Madison gets one back, even at 1 here in the third. Thomas-Ailar, 11 kills, 25 swings, 6 attack errors, hitting right at 200. Good pass by Adams. Jemerson with the tip. Big swing by Hudson, going high hands, got him.
Hudson as well, one of the changes on Atlanta's side, not necessarily in terms of point scoring. She only had 2 points in that last set, but she's added that different extra element of energy. San Giacomo, after being blocked twice, got pulled out. Now you're seeing a different look on the front side if you're a Madison blocker.
Well, San Giacomo a bit negative in her action. And now Gong Xiaoyu gets the kill. She'll go back and serve. One of the great additions to the league this year. Had just gotten done playing in the China Games, led her team to a club championship over there. Reported a little late to Love Madison, but was quickly adopted by her teammates. Hudson again. Off the high hands, dug by Mitrovic, right on the money. Temi Thomas-Ailar, overdig by Adams. Somehow she kept it alive. TTA again, and that time gets it done. If at first you don't succeed, Key.
Yeah, for sure. And the repeat set from Carlini, especially from off the net, had to continue to give her a little bit of speed there. Really good finish by TTA, up to 12 points. That's huge for her tonight to take on that point scoring role.
And a haul in the match at middle blocker. Montano with an absolute bullet. And Gong couldn't dig it. Ivan Montano, 30 years old, out of Colombia, longtime member of the Colombian national team. There are silver medals at the South American Championships. Chance for Fairbanks to guide her team up by 2. Yehilasheva on the slide. TTA with a dig, with the block, and Mackenzie Adams with the dig. Hall. Oh, Carlini going for the back corner. That was what she did so well against Atlanta a few weeks back. And point Atlanta, they lead 4-3.
Now, Matt talked about Carlini's corner in our call with him earlier today. That's something that she loves to do, is try and catch the other team off guard. So they do really well to make sure they're on top of it.
That was on March 7th in a 4-set win. That was in Madison's only win ever over Atlanta in 6 previous meetings. Atlanta didn't come here last year. They either met in Atlanta or on neutral courts. So when they came here back in February, it was their first ever match here.
And I think Matt told us as well, even though they're not making it to playoffs, he's really proud that they've beaten every team this year at least once.
They had a good stretch for a few weeks prior to their last 2 matches. Yehilasheva, 5-4 Atlanta, side out. Love Atlanta.
We also asked Matt what some of his favorite memories were from this season. He said the weekly cheesehead, right, where he would give that cheesehead to one of the teammates who demonstrated a really good leadership or teammateship, and then they would pass that to the next person the next week. So kind of establishing those cultures and those rituals and things like Madison now have that for years to come. That's been set into place for them.
Yeah, that was a great question you asked him. His favorite memories. This is his final home match. Matt Furbringer, head coach of Love Madison, be the head coach of the U.S. men's beach team. How about the cross-body by Stevie?
Yeah, welcome back, Stevie. Speaking of having a baby and then coming back to play professional level volleyball.
Maiden name Stevenson. Anna Hall still goes by Stevie, and now she serves it away. Tanya flying out of the back row. Pinoy sets up Mackenzie Adams. Oh, liberos love that when they get the assist, don't they?
100%. Anytime you can pop that ball up from out of system, and Adams knows where to put it as well. As soon as the middle blocker serves, Stevie in this case, force them to play defense. No offense to middles, but you know, not a bread and butter.
Well, you are a middle. You know what you're talking about. The paintbrush for Rebecca Alex, second opportunity. And was it in or out?
Oh. And again, to my point, Yalashva twice in a row with an overpass on the defense. And Alec, I think, got a little lucky there because that should have been put away on the first option.
She hit the bottom of the ball.
Nicely done. At the very least, she's putting it where there's nobody on court.
Got it done in the end. Back set from Fairbanks to Montano, blocked. Andrea Mitrovic.
That is a huge block. Alec as well has been a huge part of the defense today.
Yeah, it's the third block for Madison. Atlanta has 7. Tip by Adams, and a kill for Mackenzie Adams. What a smart play.
Yeah, court awareness and volleyball IQ, we talk about that a lot. It's when to swing and when to just tip right into an open space on court. And Mackenzie Adams been a little quiet over the last couple of points, but good to get her in again.
Had a huge match. What a beast she was on Saturday at home against this team. There's the 8th block for Love Atlanta, Ivan Montano.
That is not the ball to swing away at. It's inside the antenna. It's high. There's so much time for the blockers to set up. That's the one to push into the hands and recycle and play again, or go over your shoulder and try and wash it out of bounds.
An ace for Fairbanks. Five aces now for Love Atlanta. Madison has 1. Atlanta has more aces than service errors, 5-3. Gong, dug by Hudson, dig on the money. Adams crossbody down the line. What's the call?
Ooh.
And they check the Hawkeye technology.
Matt's looking, saying it was right here by my feet. It's out of bounds. Was there a touch though? Oh, it's so close.
Just out.
I like the idea from Adams there. You can see how much space she has available.
Oh, I guess they called it in. 11-7 Atlanta. A 4-0 run for Atlanta. And they have yet another block. That is their 9th.
This was the Achilles heel of Madison, right? Losing their patience in the last match and swinging into the block. They got to go back to set number 1. They were playing so well there in that respect.
Timeout on the floor here in the 3rd set. We're tied at 1. Love Atlanta trying to keep their chances alive at a league regular season title. Okay.
You guys having fun too? So shout out to Skims hooking them up, putting them in front row, making sure they feel confident and comfortable in their skin. Thanks again to Skims for the hookup. Make some noise for Madison one time.
We'd like to take a moment to recognize and congratulate Dr. David Bernhardt on his retirement after 31 years of dedicated service as a physician. Dr. Bernhardt has spent his career caring for countless athletes here in Madison. We are incredibly grateful for the care, expertise, and support you provided to our team and the broader community. Thank you, Dr. Bernhardt, for everything you've done.
Argentina Ung on the left, Magdalena Yehelasheva on the right. They are opponents now, but they were teammates for 4 years at Washington State, 2020 to 2023. Argentina Ung starting setter her final 2 years. And Magdalena Yehelasheva, the NCAA rally scoring career leader in blocks with 769, benefiting from a 5th year because of COVID. And now they're foes.
I think that's one of the best parts about playing in a league like this is having some friends on the other side of the net that you get to go up against.
Played under Jen Greeny, her husband Burdette, Shannon Hunt, great crew there that went on to West Virginia. Atlanta leads 13-7. They have been dominant since early stages of that second set, not since the beginning. We were back and forth beginning of that second set, but then Atlanta has taken charge. Overpass by Grimes, diving big, what a great effort. Claire Chausset had a very nice dig, but Atlanta gets the point.
And that's one of the changes Madison has made, trying to get her in there, stabilize that reception a little bit. I'd love to see her take more space away from Gong, kind of pinch her there and allow her to have that approach and have that freedom to swing.
Gong's such a good passer, but it takes her out of the offense quite a bit. Mitrovic on the pass and the kill for Alec.
And I'm noticing from that approach there, it was actually Chausset who pulled out of the reception. She was going to run that pipe. So even just having a few more sprinkled in options there gives the blockers of Atlanta something more to look at.
Lots of breathing room for Atlanta. Good pass by Adams. Montano off the back set, dug by Mitrovic. Chausset getting a swing at it, going high hands, and didn't get him. Claire Chausset used often recently as a serving specialist, but has not gotten many swings. Or last time she was part of the attack was on March 4th against Houston. Another ace for Atlanta. Love Atlanta now has 6 service aces against just 3 errors. Timeout taken by Love Madison. 16-8 Atlanta here in this third set. Madison won a hard-fought first set, 25-23. Atlanta dominated in the second set, and they're leading by 8 here in the third. What does Madison have to do, Key, to turn things around?
I want to see them serving tougher again. I think that was what really put them in a good position in that first set, right? We saw at least one ace and multiple errors, but that's kind of the risk that you take when you start stepping up your serve, and that is what paid off, right? Atlanta just could not get themselves in a position to swing, or at least they weren't as aggressive as they typically are, having all their middles and everything. But I want to see tougher serving and then backing it up with the block, because right now 9 blocks for Atlanta, that's just too much for one side.
Madison had 5 service errors in the first set and 3 in the second. Did that make them tentative?
Could be. Could have something to do with it.
Yeah, but like you said, you got to stay aggressive. Shooters got to keep shooting. And another ace, and a lucky one at that. They have their 7th ace of the match.
They've had more aces than they have errors. They've only missed 3 errors in the serve, if I've got my stats correct. That's
you do.
amazing. That ratio. Coaches will be, I mean, and another one.
And that's 4 for Adams.
They're just raining at this point. Any coach will be satisfied with a 1-to-1 ace to error ratio.
Oh, heavens, yes.
Right now, they're at 2-to-1.
You'd probably take 1 to 1.5, wouldn't you?
100%.
Yeah. Adams, consecutive aces. Chaussee, dug by Pinoy. Oh. Behind her head, Pinoy crashes to the floor. Slow to get up. She does get up now, and this one is still alive. Carlini going outside to Chaussee, who tips it and gets the job done. And if you're an Atlanta fan or anybody really, you just hope that Peanut Pinoy is okay.
I mean, that's huge defensive effort by Atlanta. Multiple times they had to cover their hitters, that high out of system set. So good work by Madison, at least to get Adams off the line, if nothing else.
Pinoy is okay. She was just smiling. That's good to see. Montano, side out Atlanta, and another 10-point lead. Dong Chang Yu off the back set from Carlini. 19-10 Atlanta.
Just going back to that serving streak from Adams, she got 4 aces, and coming into tonight, she had 16. So she's just 2 aces away from overtaking the top server in the league.
Wow.
That's Logan Eggleston with 22.
Chaussee, great dig by Grimes. Pancake effort by Hudson, couldn't get there. 19-11 Atlanta.
There's good energy on Madison's side right now. They're down by almost 10 points, but it doesn't feel like it in their play.
Right. You got to hand it to him. Hudson behind her head, and it goes wide. That was not a typical Rachel Fairbanks set.
Hudson trying to work some speed there, and I think that's kind of her style of play. She loves to beat the block with speed, but if the placement of the set's not there, that's the result.
Oh. Alec with a laser beam.
I think that was Stevie. What a huge...
Oh, Stevie, right. The other player who wears goggles.
Yeah, exactly.
Other middle blocker. Wow, what a big swing for her.
There they are, twinning next to each other.
Yeah, thank you, Key.
I mean, things are looking good right now for Madison. The other change they've made is they've added Hawk in the backcourt, and they've kind of stabilized a little bit in that reception unit. Now it's Atlanta making a couple of errors. Now, with this kind of momentum, maybe you don't come back into this set, but going into the 4th, this is the way you want to feel.
Yeah, Anna Hawk had been a go-to the last couple of matches. 62 swings at 161. Had her in going for more passing, and she did pass it at a rate of 60% positive over the last 3 matches. There she is, Anna Hawk from Sweden. Last year with league champ Austin, and now with Madison. Final weekend of League One volleyball play. The playoffs are next week. It will take place in Louisville at Freedom Hall Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Looking forward to it. Atlanta will be there. Houston will be there. Waiting to see who else.
First couple of days, Kevin Barnett and Slim Rockwell on the call with my buddy Key on sideline. Congratulations.
I'm excited. It's the first time I've done sideline this whole season.
That's great. Chaussee uses the block. And so Madison trying to get back into this one. And as you mentioned, the horses might be already out of the barn here in this 3rd set, but trying to build some momentum, if nothing else, for the 4th.
The horses are completely ready to knock down the barn. I've never heard that expression before, but I love it. Madison, I feel like they have nothing to lose, right? They can just go out swinging, and right now, tough serving is what I want to see. They've only missed one error this set. I'd love to see them make a few more errors, a bit more risk.
Hawk off the soft block, dug by Pinoy. Fairbanks going to Hudson, well off the net, finds a way to get it done anyway. Side out Atlanta, 21-15. And Hudson will serve.
Again, from behind her. She's had a couple of those balls where she's had to really clean up.
Off the block and out of bounds. Hall will serve. Takes off the goggles when she serves. That's standard for her. Remember last year thinking, wait a minute, they have two number twos? The off speed.
The off speed, and again, look who they're targeting in the defense there. It's not a hard driven ball to her, but they're making Stevie get on the floor, try and go after that ball. So I like the strategy we're seeing on Atlanta's side. They're really clear with their tactics, even in uncomfortable situations.
Beatrice Negrati, libero by trade. DS most often this year, though she has worn the libero jersey a number of times. Madison gets one back, 22-17. Rebecca Alec. Lauren Carlini, typically excellent at the service line. That pass really tight to the net. Montano absolutely flying out of that back row.
She went a little quiet. I feel that's the first time we've called her name in a little while. Only 4 points in this set, but sneaky swing. Nobody knew she was there, right? Great set by Fairbanks as well, and she's sneaking around the back.
2 points away from going ahead 2-1. Love Atlanta. Hawk with the tip. Jemerson Montano there on the block again. Back row attack, Chassé, dug by Pinoy. Alec trying to put it down. Kept alive by Montano and Jemerson, and Fairbanks with a kill as Madison miscommunicated. What in the world?
I mean, I'm looking at Matt right now because I know he's got some questions. that flag has been thrown. It looked like it dribbled down one of the players at the net, so they'll have to have a second look at it because you can make the block touch and then one more touch, but there might have been a few more touches in there that didn't get called.
So for the moment, it is set point Atlanta.
Suspense is killing me.
These resolutions usually come quickly because of the 40 cameras in the building and the Hawkeye technology.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the challenge. I mean, Madison have been playing so well in the last few points.
It's taking a little bit longer than normal. Final home match for Love Madison. They'll wrap things up on Saturday at Salt Lake. Salt Lake taking on Austin as we speak. And Key, did you have it called correctly?
I mean, I'm not sure exactly what we're looking at, but it's either just rolled down the front of Montano, or she's lifted it, or she's touched the net.
But the the challenge is successful. So it's 23-18 Atlanta. And Madison will serve. Seemingly delaying the inevitable, but we'll see. Montano. Good off speed for Yvonne Montano. They have to stay back because she's so powerful.
They do, but I feel like that was a miscommunication there. Two players kind of hesitated rather than just straight going for it. And you just can't, with a tip, you can't.
Mackenzie Adams, one shy of the league record for service aces in a match. She has 4. Combo play, Chassé, dug by Negrati. Good coverage by Adams off the swing from Montano. Carlini. Alec trying to get it over the tape, but couldn't do it. And that's how Atlanta takes set number 3. They're ahead 2 sets to 1. Back and forth in the first. Pretty much all Atlanta in the next 2.
You're on another level.
Overhand pass by Chassé. Hawk off speed. Bumps at Pinoy. Montano trying to get Atlanta off on the right foot, and she does. Going high hands.
This is what's made Atlanta so good in the latter half of this entire season, but tonight as well, is that there are multiple options. Already 3 players with over 10 points. So many good swingers coming at you, and at different times.
Gong gets one back from Madison. We're even at 1 here in this 4th set. Ivan Montano, 16 kills, hitting .500. Only 2 attack errors in 28 swings. Magdalena Halasheva, 5 kills, 9 swings without an attack error. Of course, Mackenzie Adams, as you mentioned, 7 kills without an attack error in 10 swings. Kept alive, but they had a bad contact on a ball sent over the net. Double hits are, of course, allowed, but not if it goes over the net.
I'd love to see a little more middle action here if Carlini can get the ball to Stevie. Oh.
Dig by Pinoy. Fairbanks going outside to Hudson. Right, a dig by Grimes. Back row attack by Adams. Gong was there. Carlini on that tight to the net. Hudson again. Eva Hudson having a good match after having not played much lately. And Tia Jemerson has at least 1 block for 10 consecutive matches.
Great work by Jemerson, but how about the defense there by Grimes in the backcourt for Madison?
Yes.
2-3 defenses in a row. She's getting her team another opportunity to swing. Unfortunately, the swing goes straight into the block, but you want to see that kind of scrappy defense out of Madison all the way to the end.
And Madison challenging. Each team gets 2 challenges per set.
I'm curious what they could be challenging here. Was there a ball and then, oh, maybe a blocker in the net? That could be it. The block did look quite close to the net.
Okay.
That's all I can really think of, because the ball itself was super tight as well.
Matt Furbringer's players rave about him and the culture that he's brought here.
Oh, I can see why he called it, but I don't know. I don't think I see the net moving. Montano batting at it just a little bit. Typically, as a blocker, you want to go straight over rather than up and then swinging towards the net, because that's when you get those net faults. But if you press over as you're raising, that's when you can avoid it. Sometimes you can't avoid it.
And the challenge unsuccessful. And the point stays with Love Atlanta. Matt Furbringer wanting a little bit more of an explanation. Rich Burke along with Key Michael, who still holds the University of Miami all-time records for blocks in a single season and career.
Hey, I'll take
You know what you're doing.
I'll claim that. I'll ride that until I'm 70 years old, hopefully. I'm sure someone will come along and steal it from me, but hey, every once in a while I know something about blocking.
Montano. Good coverage by Adams. Hudson. Got it done. 4-2 Atlanta. So Austin beat Salt Lake. Salt Lake lost again. They have lost 9 times in the last 10 matches, and it's possible they may not make the postseason after being the best team in the league the first half of the year.
That's absolutely wild. And what's even more wild is that they started losing on Friday the 13th.
Oh my goodness.
That was the last match they won, and then they went on a massive streak of, I think it was like 9-1 matches that they lost versus won.
Are you superstitious or just a little stitious?
I mean, I'll let a black cat cross my path. I don't mind it.
Hawk, hard angle attack, goes long. 5-2 Atlanta.
But speaking of, I guess, Salt Lake, one of the things I think that they did really well in the early stages of the season were that balanced offense. We saw them working through the middle, through the grays, and they've had a few injuries that they've had to deal with, and it's almost the complete opposite that we've seen on Atlanta's side. Atlanta now are the team that have so many options in the offense. They've dealt with their injuries and found solutions for it, so they are the team that I would say are probably the team to beat.
Wow.
The semifinals.
Okay, that's a great point. And then there's Nebraska. Nebraska is doing really well as well. They have won 7 of their last 9. And Jordan Larson, in her final season, it would be a storybook ending if she ended with a championship with Love Nebraska.
Oh, wouldn't it?
And the playoffs start next week. The question is, 2 of those 3 teams, Austin, Salt Lake, Nebraska, will make the playoff bracket. Which 2 teams will it be? Now, with Austin knocking off Salt Lake tonight, they're tied, and they're tied in the head-to-head tiebreaker, which takes it to the next tiebreaker. And it's going to come down, I think, to those 3 matches on Sunday. And you and I have the very last one, Madison at Salt Lake. It could be that Salt Lake has to win that match to make the playoffs. That would be fun.
Yep.
That'll be Saturday, the final match of our triple header. 3 matches coming up on Saturday. That's the last day of the regular season in League One volleyball. 8-3 Atlanta. They continue to take charge, and Yvonne Montano will serve. Chaussee, or back line. No call yet.
She's saying no. She's taking a bold swing there. And interestingly, she was the 3rd best scorer for Madison last season, which is why it's interesting she doesn't get a whole lot of opportunities to play front court this season.
Chaussee had a big summer. USA Senior National Team in the Norseca Final 6 in September. They won gold, and she got engaged.
That's right. I think there was an Instagram post where she was comparing her wedding invites versus the invites to the next match.
That's right. I remember seeing that. And she was talking about this very match right here. Hall with a kill, and Hall will serve. Fairbanks going to Yehilasheva, and she uses the block on the slide. 10-4 Atlanta.
We haven't seen a lot of slide out of Yehilasheva tonight. She's been working more in front, just a couple of those balls behind. But again, Atlanta have her as an option. They established her early. That's what's been so successful for them.
She has 6 kills without an attack air and 10 swings. And Indre Sorakaite, 23rd year pro out of both Lithuania and Italy. Sorakaite played in just 14 sets coming into this match.
23 years pro. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
That's insane.
37 years old.
I guess the math is mathing.
Runs her own youth club in Lithuania. And one reason why she wanted to come here to League One Volleyball is because their involvement with youth clubs and Madtown Volleyball in Madison. She's trying to learn how to make her youth club better.
No better place to learn.
There she is, Indre Sorakaite. Pro stops in Italy, Japan, Indonesia, Azerbaijan. Won a women's World Club Championship with Italy's famed Conegliano in 2019. So Madison hoping not to go away. Claire Chaussee, after the kill, will go back and serve. Jemerson, dug by Carlini, kept alive by Grimes, sent back over by Fairbanks. Rachel Fairbanks, second in the league in kills among setters coming into this one, to Lauren Carlini of Madison. And timeout on the floor. Atlanta continuing to take charge here as they look to win this one in 4 sets. And let's revisit our Chase scouting report.
Yeah, one of the things I talked about specifically was Madison need to swing smarter. They were blocked again 10 times already tonight, and a lot of that was earlier on, so they've kind of taken a little bit of a dip going the other direction, but Atlanta spread the offense. We talked about how we needed to see more than just one player firing. That has been their strength, especially since they lost Grubbs, and now they have different players that had to step up. They've done a really good job of making sure everyone's involved.
In 2 matches over 6 days, Atlanta has outblocked Madison 23-5. Rebecca Alec getting one back there. It's 12-6 Atlanta. And Alec will serve. Rebecca Alec didn't serve much when she was at Nebraska, but she is indeed a talented server.
How about an ace serve? How's that for talent?
That's their second in this match.
And look at the ball, doesn't have a single spin on it. You can just read it as it floats.
Tia Jemerson. That's what Atlanta can do when they stay in system.
And that's what they've done all night long, is they've taken care of that first ball. They've just made sure that Fairbanks has options. She's running what she wants when she wants because of that first ball contact. And that's really their strength right now.
Yeah, you raised such a great point. This Atlanta team is going to be really tough to beat in the Love playoffs in Louisville next week. Wrist away by Hudson, dug by Grimes, set by Chassé, swing by Hawk, back in her face, covers it up. Hawk again off the soft block, dug by Pinoy. Back set to Montano, lunging play by Chassé. One of our longer rallies in this match. Pinoy the dig off the soft block. There's Montano, second swing, wrist away, but too far. 13-9 Atlanta, side out Madison.
She's just sneakily got about 19 points without us really noticing. Top scorer of the night, but first real error that I can remember in her swing. I think she's been blocked once and one error. That's a huge night for Montano.
It's a big night. Here's Montano again, and she gets blocked. And a Hawk on the block.
Well, there's the way to make a statement. Beautiful move by Hawk, pressing over as well. She's kind of taken away that shot that Montano's been working all night long, especially since she just made that error line. Now she's making sure she goes back to the cross.
Don't eulogize this one just yet. Jemerson. Carlini going back corner, diving dig by Adams. Hudson takes a swing at it, dug by Grimes. Carlini. Hawk. Dug by Hudson. Back row attack by Adams. Going for the hands, got him. Wow. Madison back within 2. They have life.
And they had to fight for that too, with that defensive effort we're seeing on Atlanta's side. And now, again, going off the hands, like you mentioned, that has been so missing from this part of the match. The very first set, it was perfect. Kind of went away from it. Need to go back to that strategy.
Suddenly, timeout Atlanta. They led this one big, and now they lead by only 2. What does Paulo Coco tell his team?
Well, it looks like he's telling them by his body language. I'm seeing he wants them to maybe play a little smarter, specifically to Montagna, right? She got one ball went out and then she got blocked straight back down. He's saying, look, if the ball's not there for swinging on, tips, rolls into the hands to recycle. I mean, there's patience. Swing high over the hands. I'm trying to read his lips here, just pretend like I know what he's saying. But really, there's options. When you see a big block in front of you, just swinging blindly into it is the last option you want to take.
We talk about Yvonne Montagno and the job she did in the wake of the injury of Tessa Grubbs. How about Paulo Coco? Keeping that team together, them going on a winning streak after losing their best player, one of the best attackers in the league in the early season.
I mean, Coco's one of the most respected coaches in the game. What he's done with Brazil, he has so much passion on that sideline as well, and the players really respect the way that he speaks to them. They listen because they know he's been there, he's done it, and they want to learn from him.
Attack error by Eva Hudson. 13-12 Atlanta. Gong short serve. San Giacomo back in after the attack error by Hudson. Hawk trying to even it up, going high hands, didn't get him. Atlanta gets a side out and they go back up by 2. Madison that close to evening this up.
Oh, that felt like a moment where if that ball had gone to Madison's side, that would have been a defining moment.
Isn't that the truth? Now Jemerson's serve had a couple of aces early. Back row attack, Claire Chaussee. The hometown kid.
Hello, Claire. That spiciness has been missing. Claire Chaussee, she hasn't had a whole lot of chances to swing this year, as you mentioned, but even from the backcourt, I feel like she's almost better from the backcourt than the front court.
Service air, knowing they have to serve tough. And Montagno will serve for Love Atlanta. Atlanta can keep their hopes alive for a regular season championship if they win this one. They're already in the playoffs. They secured that last weekend. Love playoffs coming up next week. Freedom Hall in Louisville. Service error. The two teams trade service errors. Atlanta hadn't had too many of those, have they? That's just their 4th against 8 service aces. On a Hall to serve for Madison. Montagno out of the back row, blocked by Alec, and we are tied.
Man, Alec making a presence at the net. And this is exactly what you saw in that timeout, that Coco was asking his players not to bring that ball down. I mean, Alec in her own right, one of the best blockers of the NCAA just recently. You don't swing into those shoulders. They are prepped and ready.
Anna Hall had just 38 service attempts this year heading into this match. Got him out of system. Kept alive. Chaussee blocked by Yehelasheva. Did Atlanta ever need that? They lead 16-15.
Returning the favor and reminding Madison who they are. Beautiful inside arm.
11 blocks for Atlanta, 5 for Madison. Alec, diving dig by San Giacomo, kept alive by Pinoy. Free ball for Carlini. Chaussee, the tip, lunging play. Nicely done by LMA Powell. Free ball now for Powell. And there's a block for Alec. You've got to convert those free balls. Second block this set. Madison evens it up at 16. Carlini will serve.
This is a great rotation for Madison as well. Big blocking lineup. Setter backcourt. Can they get a string of points here?
That was Carly DeHoog with the swing. Gong. Alec puts it down. Madison leads 17-16, trying to force a fifth.
Ooh,
what happened
that is
here?
an interesting call. Okay. Alec reached for the ball, and the referee's saying she grabbed it on the other side of the net. It's hard to tell unless we get a really close-up. She thinks she was just being aggressive and changing the direction, but did she grab it on the wrong side, or did she wait for it to pass the plane?
So 17-16 Atlanta. Beatrice Negrati's serve. Carlini going to Chassé, off the block and out of bounds. Back even at 17. Let's have a look at the previous play.
It's so hard to tell. Do you know, honestly, I mean, the referee has the final call, but that ball looked like it might have been playable. Of course, I'm biased. I'm a middle blocker. I always wanted to be able to go up and get it.
DeHoog, dug by Chassé. Gong Xiang Yu tips, dug by Pinoy. Adams. Hawk was there. Gong, second swing of the rally, blocked by Jemerson. Huge block for Atlanta.
And chef's kiss on the pickup from Pinoy. I mean, now it's just becoming a gun show right now, block for block.
(17-17). Rotation one. Fairbanks, the setter, will serve. Pass by Chassé is a good one. Alec, as a result, uses the block, gets Madison back up in front. Had only two hands in front of her. Good pass by Chassé. We're even at 17. Jemerson. How about the rejection by Anna Hall? 19-18 Madison.
Madison's blocking has stepped up massively in this set. That's the third or fourth stuff block in one set alone.
Really well done. Alex serve again. Out of system. It's Adams. Dug by Chassé. A chance to go up by two. Back row attack Chassé. Pinoy couldn't dig it. Claire Chassé puts her team up by two.
That backcourt attack, that's what she was known for at Louisville, is that really aggressive, fast, we call it a BIC. Basically, it's almost a first tempo speed. It's right behind the middle blocker's shoulder. It is so difficult to block because you can't jump twice to catch that tempo.
Bick for back quick.
That's the one.
There's Adams. Gong on the block. How about Gong Xiang Yu? 21-18 Madison. We saw him build some momentum toward the end of that third set.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We talked about it. They may not take that set, but they would bring it into this one. That's exactly what they've done.
And they were down big in this one, but they have managed to come back. Hawk couldn't take advantage of the overpass. Adams going high hands, going really high hands. Attack air for Mackenzie Adams, 22-18 Madison.
I think that's a 4 or 5 point run for Madison. Yeah, 5-0. All to do with this tough serving and the block.
Not an ace, but it's a free ball for Carlini to work with. Off speed by Hawk. Montano, big swing, going hard angle attack and miss. It's a 6-0 run for Madison. They have taken command here in the fourth set.
Yeah, we talked about how important it was going to be for Madison to turn it back on from the service line, and that's the result, right? It's a domino effect. The tougher you serve, the easier it is for your block, and look how well that's formed. I mean, you kind of have to look for some spaces all around it or try and go over.
Yep, challenge unsuccessful, no block touch. Ball was out. (23-18) Madison. What a run for Matt Ferbringer's team. Jemerson ends it, but is it too late? 23-19. San Giacomo back into the match for Love Atlanta. Madison can feel the cheers from the crowd right now as they are 2 points away from forcing a fifth. Mackenzie Adams, 4 aces, one shy of the league record. Chaussee the set, Hawk the swing, blocked by Jemerson. Little Dikembe finger wag, as if to say not yet. 23-20, Madison.
She's so fun to watch when she gets hyped up. Couple of big blocks in a row, and that's exactly what you're going to get from Atlanta. They need that mojo back, right? And blocking helps to get it.
Pass on the dime from Grimes. Alec off the soft block of Jemerson. Fairbanks. Jemerson finds some open floor. 23-21. Madison going to take timeout. They do. Well, Madison had a big run to get within 2 points of forcing a fifth. But now Atlanta is on a run of their own.
I've been so impressed with the blocking right now of Madison. In this set, 5 blocks alone. But again, Madison have the capabilities to come back in. If they start swinging a little smarter, that'll be the difference.
Playoffs come up next week. That'll be at Freedom Hall in Louisville. Friday, 2 against 3, 1 against 4, 4 o'clock and 6:30. And those will be on Victory Plus. Kevin Barnett, Salima Rockwell, Key Michael will have the call. Saturday, it'll be 2 and 3 in their second match, 6 o'clock Eastern, ESPN2. And then Sunday, 1 against 4 in their second match, 2 o'clock Eastern on USA Network. Shelby Coppage, Courtney Thompson, and Key will have the call on that one. And then the championship is taking place in Long Beach, California at the Pyramid, April 16th and the 18th. Notice in all of those there are 2 matches. If they split the matches, there will be an immediate golden set to 15. That will be the tiebreaker. Essentially, it'll serve as a match of its own to decide who moves on out of the playoffs or who is the champion out of the championship. And Madison gets the side out, snaps the 3-0 Atlanta run, and now they have set point to force a fifth. Jemerson blocked by Hall. Madison rises from the dead between Salt Lake and Austin. The first tiebreaker is tied. That's head-to-head. The second one is head-to-head sets won divided by head-to-head total sets played. All right, 5th set action here.
Ooh, it's either an ace or an error right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Oh, wow.
And it's an ace. Madison. They were left for dead in that 4th set. They came from behind to win it, and they get the first point of this 5th. Of course, this 5th set to 15 have to win by 2. Chaussee serves it away. Good pass by Pinoy. Yehelasheva getting it back as Atlanta tries to get back their mojo.
You know what's wild is that last set, and I mean, it was a block party, right? 10 blocks between the 2 teams. Neither team hit over 7% efficiency.
Neither team.
Atlanta was at 2% and Madison at 7%.
Wow.
I mean, credit to the blocks, but.
Indeed. Cross body by Gong Xiaoyu. 2-1 Madison. Rebecca Alec will serve. Again, she wasn't required to serve much at Nebraska, but she has served it well here. As a pro, the rookie, opponents in system only 42% of the time. That's a good number. Montano tools the block, and we're even at 2.
Yeah, speaking of good numbers, Montano creeping up there to 20 points. Efficiency just at about 30%. She's been asked to do a lot. 35 sets she's had. Those are 35 attempts to swing.
Carlini going to Hall. How about Anna Hall? What a match she has had. Had played in just 14 sets coming in. Had her baby boy Louis in September. And her first match was on February the 15th. Getting back into it, and she is having a solid one for Madison. They lead 3-2. Back row attack by Montano, blocked by Hall.
Wild.
Crazy.
Hall just perfectly placing. Wait, she goes, she thinks she's going to take a step, changes her mind, and then dives into that angle. And that will be something that was on the scouting report, right? If you know who's up against you in what position, you know which way to dive, and just took away all the wind out of the sails of Montano, and rightfully so, a double sub coming on Atlanta's side.
In the 5th set, LMA Powell, Carly DeHogue in. Powell teeing up DeHogue, big left-hand swing, dug by Gong Xiaomu. Off speed by Hawk. Hudson was there. DeHogue again, overdig by Gong. Options for LMA Powell. And Hudson back in the match, gets it done. Eva Hudson, fire in her eyes on that swing.
It's fun to see how deep these two benches are. I mean, we've seen so many shifts and changes on both sides. The coaches trying to find the right pieces of the puzzle that work together.
Hudson's gotten the bulk of the swings. Chaussee flying up for that one. She and Anna Hall have had a great match, and they didn't start.
Yeah, you talk about impact players. That's exactly what you want. Someone that comes off the bench, a little bit of fire, and just is efficient when they're asked to do something.
Off speed by DeHogue. Pancake by Carlini. Paintbrush by Jemerson. Chaussee. And Hudson couldn't keep it alive. And the flag thrown on the pancake by Carlini. I love the flag throw by Paulo Coco.
Just straight up in the air. Woo.
They have to wait to issue that flag to throw that flag until the play is over. And that ball's down.
I think you could tell as well by the way Carlini kind of got up a little casually. She's usually so quick in defense. If she thought that ball was up, she would have been popped up within a split second.
Good point.
Lingered a little bit, like, yeah, and you kind of knew that was down.
All about the body language.
Yeah.
Paulo Coco was reaching for that flag immediately. Combo play, Chaussee. Pancake by Powell that appeared good. DeHogue, cross body. Grimes with the dig. Kept alive by Gong. Free ball coming. Powell going to Adams. Dug by Grimes. Jillian Grimes, the rookie, having a big match at libero. DeHogue, hard angle attack. No call yet, and Matt Furbringer getting ready to throw the flag anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably gonna have a look at that pancake no matter what. The pancakes are a high percentage that you're gonna get it right, because unless your whole hand is underneath that ball, there's a chance that it compressed over your fingertips and got a little bit of the floor as well. The luck you have with the pancakes is when you get it more on the wrist, or at least the back of your palm, but if it touches any fingertips, it probably touched floor as well. And I think it did.
The challenge successful. 6-4 Madison. So big challenge for Madison. Matt Furbringer didn't quite throw the flag like Paulo Coco did. It was more of a show than a throw. Hall serve. Adams. Dug by Hall. Overdig. Yehelasheva. Joust. We continue. Off speed. Set by Hall. Chaussee. Into the tape. Attack air on Chaussee. 6-5 Madison. In this 5th set to 15. Carly DeHogue will go back and serve. Just 14 service attempts all year long. 1 service ace, no service errors. Sat atop the tape after the tip by Alec. There's Adams, big swing. Adams. Mackenzie Adams gets Atlanta back even at 6.
Both teams have done such a good job this set. It hasn't been a long set yet. It's only 6 points into it, but they've been avoiding the block, and that was the Achilles heel of both teams in that last set. We're just swinging into the big block.
DeHogue with her first service error this year, just her 16th serve. 7-6 Madison. Carly DeHogue, 8th year pro out of the University of Washington, Ontario, California native. The 31-year-old Lauren Carlini serves it away. Back Adams, off speed. Lunging play by Chaussee. Carlini. Free ball here as Atlanta tries to tie it up. Powell going to the Hogue. Pardon me, that was the Halasheva. There comes Hudson. Dug by Carlini. Set by Grimes. Gong with the swing. Off the block and out of bounds. Jillian Grimes, talk about her out-of-system setting needing to improve. Matt Furbringer said she's good in every other area. Well, she gets the assist there at a critical moment.
And that's exactly the point I was going to bring up, is that they've been working on that and improving in that specific skill. So to be able to bring it out in crunch time, that's maturity for a young libero.
Right off the campus of Penn State. After the injury to Anna Pogani. And Yehalasheva gets the side out for Atlanta, gets him back within one. This is a fantastic match, and it looked like Atlanta was going to run away with it. They had a big lead in the fourth, and they let it get away. Now Mackenzie Adams, who has 4 aces, one shy of the league record set by Sophie Fisher of Salt Lake the last day of January. Pass on the dime from Hawk. Gong Xiangyu, dug by Adams. Eva Hudson. Lunging play by Carlini, one of the better defending setters in the world. Chaussee again, second swing of the rally. Dug by Pinoy, on the money. Free ball though, here it is. Carlini, also one of the best in the world, has the options. Lunging dig by Hall. Chaussee looked at her options and gets blocked by Yehalasheva. We are even at 8. Maybe she tried to do too much.
I mean, there was a lot going on in that rally.
There was a lot going on.
I'm trying to think about, that felt like the longest rally of the night. It probably did for both the teams too, but I'm thinking back to the first set, right? Look how close the score lines were, 25-23. This very easily could have been a 3-0 when we would have been out of here hours ago, but
this is way more fun.
I mean, credit to Madison for holding on and getting grittier as the night goes on.
Hudson with the kill. Eva Hudson puts Atlanta back on top. Hudson, who hadn't been part of the attack much lately, she started until February 19th. Then Julia San Giacomo began to start. Last 9 matches, Hudson had just 26 attacks. 12 of those 2 matches ago against Nebraska. Last 9 matches, just 9 kills. But she's had some big moments in this one. And now Adams will serve again, leading it by 1. It's not an ace, but they're out of system. Chaussee. Fairbanks teeing up Adams. Chaussee was there. Carlini, a chance to get it even. Gong Xiangyu does the job. Side out Madison, we're tied at 9.
I've been so impressed with Chaussee in particular in these last couple of sets. Stepping in multiple times, Atlanta have tried to do that tip, right? They've tried to just tip right behind the block, and she's read it every single time and made sure that ball stays in play. Those are the little things that go kind of uncredited on the score sheet or the report, or, you know, when you're talking about the big kills and the point scoring. But those are the little details that let your team play good.
Hudson off the block of Gong, covered up by Adams. Montano off the block of Hawk. Again, Alec covered up by Fairbanks. What a play by Pinoy. Absolute wall set up, but Montano ends up breaking through that wall. 10-9 Atlanta. Wow, Madison, such a good job at the net until it wasn't.
And I can feel the frustration, right, from Montano. She was having such a good night. The first 3 sets and even the halfway through the fourth, she was just phenomenal, just flying. But then back-to-back blocks and stuff blocks at that can really get in your head as a player.
Yeah. Madison needs the side out here. Off speed by Gong. Yehalasheva there. Eva Hudson puts it down. 11-9 Atlanta. They take a 2-point lead in this set to 15. And timeout taken by Madison. Madison has fought so hard, and Atlanta now 4 points away. These last moments here come down to the little things. Coming up this weekend, Saturday, a triple header. This will be a big one. Lots of things to be decided, especially after Austin beat Salt Lake earlier. Houston at Atlanta, 5 o'clock Eastern, ESPN Plus. That'll be at Georgia Tech. Anne-Marie Anderson, Salima Rockwell with a call. Austin at Nebraska, 7 o'clock Central, Victory Plus. Baxter Arena, Shelby Coppage and Cameron Irwin with a call. And then Key and I will have the finale of the regular season, Madison at Salt Lake, 7 o'clock Mountain on Victory Plus, also on Madison's CW.
And I'm so excited for that match, particularly because there's so much on the line. But if Madison play the way they've been playing in, let's say, these last 2 sets versus the way that Salt Lake have been playing in their couple last matches, I mean, things could go very south very quickly for Salt Lake.
Service air for Yehelasheva. Madison gets a gift, 11-10 Atlanta. All right, so Madison knew coming into this match they have to serve aggressively. How aggressive is Alec here? Overhand pass by Hudson. Jemerson, one-on-one, puts Atlanta back up by 2.
And here's where servers can get a little bit tense, right? We've seen Madison, they've had 3 aces to 10 errors, so they're really right there trying to put pressure on Atlanta like you mentioned, but now where every single error feels heightened, they might get a little soft.
That was a laser of a serve. Gong, hard angle attack. Gong Xiaoyu gets it done. Side out Madison, they're back within 1. And she'll serve.
Absolute laser, as you mentioned. My goodness, the angles that she's able to find, mere mortals cannot.
Gong more service aces than errors this year. Short serve, good pass by Jemerson. Combo play, Hudson gets it done. Eva Hudson gets Atlanta within 2 points of a 5-set win. And now she'll go back and serve.
What a time to go off the hands of Carlini in front. She's a taller blocker, or excuse me, taller setter, but still one of the smaller blockers to aim at.
Hall, and it goes long, no touch. It is match point for Atlanta. For all of Madison's fighting, this crowd behind them, Atlanta still 1 point away with some breathing room. Angel Sorokayate is in the match for Love Madison. Served by Hudson. Gotta have it. Ungset, swing. That was Sorokayate. Chassé, dug by Pinoy. They can win it here. It's Mackenzie Adams going for the high hands. Didn't get him. Madison still alive. Second match point coming for Love Atlanta. Paulo Coco. Is he going to throw the flag and challenge?
Oh.
Yes.
Wonder what he's challenging. Is he looking for a touch there? This might just be one of those I want to slow some things down out there, because that was a beautiful work by Madison. They looked like they were done, right? The block was there and they covered it and came back. Yeah, I don't think he's looking for an actual touch. I think he's just hoping.
Using it as a bit of a timeout.
I mean, is that a shadow or
is
that
it?
A wiggle? Oh, I don't know.
It's looking shadowish to me. Madison's hoping.
But you know what? From that angle, the pointer finger of Stevie might just, oh man, I mean it all comes down to this, right?
It is so close.
I think that's a touch. I'm no referee. Would never claim to be.
Is it
Man,
enough
that's so
evidence
tough.
though?
Oh, that's so
It might be, but I don't even know, even with this great technology, that you can say that it's enough evidence.
I mean, from one angle it looks like the finger is moving. From the other, it doesn't. So
Challenge unsuccessful. So Madison still alive. Paulo Coco saying there was a touch, and I can see what he's talking about, but I just don't know that there's enough evidence. Oh, and did they change the call?